I still remember the exact sound that woke me up that morning. Not an alarm, not traffic. A voice, shaky, cracking, half-panicked, half-broken, echoing through the quiet parking lot outside my window. My van. My van is gone. By the end of that day, our HOA president would be standing in front of 2 sheriff's deputies, forced to order that van returned, signing paperwork with trembling hands. But when I first pulled back my blinds, all I saw was an empty parking space and a man whose entire life had just been yanked away overnight. I live in one of those HOA neighborhoods that looks peaceful from the outside. Neat lawns matching mailboxes, cheerful little flags by the entrance. The kind of place realtors describe as quiet and well-managed. I'd lived there long enough to know what that really meant. Rules, letters, warnings slipped under doors, fines for trash cans left out too long. A constant low-level anxiety that if you stepped out of line, someone would notice. Someone always noticed. That someone in our case was Linda Harper. Linda was our HOA president. Mid-50s, perfectly highlighted hair, always wearing bright blazers that made her stand out like she was campaigning for something. She never went anywhere without her clipboard. I used to joke that it was surgically attached to her arm, but the truth is, most of us didn't joke about Linda. We whispered about her. We watched our steps around her. She had a way of making grown adults feel like misbehaving kids. My neighbor Mark lived 3 doors down from me. Quiet guy, polite, a veteran. He'd lost the use of his legs years ago, long before I met him. What everyone knew him for, what you couldn't miss, was his blue wheelchair-accessible van. It had a ramp lifts hand-controlled space for medical equipment. That van wasn't just transportation. It was how he got groceries, how he got to doctor appointments, how he visited friends. Without it, he was stuck. Literally trapped in his house. That morning I threw on a hoodie and ran outside. The parking space where Mark's van always sat was spotless. Too spotless. No oil stain, no tire marks, no note. Just a clean, empty rectangle of asphalt like the van had never existed at all. Mark was standing there leaning against his walker phone in his hand, fingers shaking so badly he could barely hold it. His face was pale. I'd never seen him look that scared. My chair was in there, he said when he saw me. My medical stuff, everything. Before I could even process that, I noticed someone watching us from across the lot. Arms crossed, clipboard tucked under one elbow. Linda Harper standing on her porch observing the scene like she was watching a movie she'd already seen before. Looking for something, she called out. I felt my stomach drop. "Where is his van?" I asked, already knowing the answer. She tilted her head slightly, that fake sympathetic smile pulling at her lips. The board voted. No disabled vans in common view. It lowers property values. I swear for a second my brain just shut off. You can't be serious," I said. "That van is ADA compliant. He lives here. He needs that." She rolled her eyes. Actually rolled them. Rules are rules. Page 12 of the updated handbook. He was warned. Mark shook his head slowly. "I was never warned," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. None of us had been warned. None of us had even seen this so-called updated handbook. "All my equipment is in that van," Mark said. "How am I supposed to get to my doctor?" Linda shrugged. A full, deliberate shrug. "Not my problem. Talk to the tow company." And then she turned around and went back inside like she'd just taken out the trash. I helped Mark back to his door. He kept apologizing like this was somehow his fault. I felt this tight, burning pressure in my chest. This man served his country, and our HOA president had decided his van was ugly decor. That day we emailed the HOA board. We sent photos, ADA paperwork, registration, everything. I even printed copies and slid them under each board member's door. No response. The only reply we got was from Linda herself. Per HOA rules, she wrote the vehicle violated appearance standards and was rightfully removed. Any further harassment will be reported. Harassment. She stole his van and called us the problem. I went door to door that evening. Neighbors opened their doors just a crack, eyes darting over my shoulder like Linda might be standing behind me. "I'm so sorry," one whispered, "but I can't go against her. She threatened to fine us for our kids' bikes." Another said, "I saw the tow truck. I wanted to film, but you know how she is." Everyone was scared. Scared of fines, scared of letters, scared of being her next target. That night I sat alone at my kitchen table laptop, open HOA handbook on one side, Google on the other. I was angry, so angry I could taste it, but under that anger was doubt. What if Linda was right? What if HOA rules really did trump everything else? What if I was about to make things worse for Mark by pushing this? I read every single page of that handbook, every footnote, every clause. And you know what I didn't find? A single clear line banning disabled vehicles. So I started searching state laws. ADA, fair housing, reasonable accommodation. And there it was, clear as day. HOAs are required to provide reasonable parking accommodations for residents with disabilities. No extra fees, no blocking, no towing without notice, and an appeal process. Linda hadn't just abused her power, she'd broken the law. That was the moment something shifted in me. Not rage, focus. I helped Mark write a detailed complaint. Dates, times, exact words Linda said. What was in the van. Why it was his only means of mobility. Then I called the sheriff's non-emergency line expecting to be brushed off. The deputy went quiet when I mentioned ADA and no appeal process. Do you have proof, he asked. Oh, we do, I said. Screenshots, emails, printouts, backups of backups. We'll send someone tomorrow, he said. The next morning felt unreal. 2 sheriff's cars rolled into our little HOA like they were pulling up to a crime scene. Curtains twitched, doors cracked open, phones came out. Linda marched outside that bright blazer on smile plastered across her face. Officers. Is there a problem? I'm the HOA president. One of the deputies didn't even acknowledge the title. We received a complaint about an accessible vehicle being towed. We'd like to see your paperwork. Her smile faltered. It violated community standards. I have full authority. We'll need the written warnings, the deputy said calmly. The board vote, the ADA accommodation policy. Color drained from her face. ADA doesn't apply to us, she snapped. This is private property. The other deputy opened a folder. Actually, it does. And right now it looks like you forcibly removed a disabled resident's only mobility vehicle without notice. Someone behind me whispered, "Oh, damn." Linda started stuttering. The board approved it. We already spoke to 2 board members, the deputy said. They said they didn't vote on anything. That was it. Her power evaporated in real time. The deputy turned to Mark. Sir, is your wheelchair and medical equipment in the van? Yes, Mark said. I can't leave my house without it. The deputy looked back at Linda. His voice went cold. You're going to call the tow company. That van is coming back today. No fees. Then we'll be filing a report. You can't talk to me like that, she snapped. I'm the HOA president. Right now, he said, you're just someone we're investigating. Someone laughed, out loud. Linda called the tow company on speaker hands, shaking. When the truck came back, half the neighborhood was outside. The driver lowered the van carefully. Mark watched, eyes wet. Linda signed paperwork under the deputy's gaze, jaw clenched so tight I thought her teeth might crack. Within a week, she was voted out. Fined. Forced into compliance training. The rules were rewritten. No more towing without notice. Mandatory ADA accommodations. Now, when I look out my window, I see Mark's blue van parked safely in its spot. And Linda. She still lives here. She just walks fast now, head down, no clipboard. Power means nothing when it's built on fear, and the law doesn't care how loud you think you are.